Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. On broadcast today, the internationally recognized attorney Peter Palivos. He's here for the whole show on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
This holiday season, say aloha to winning big with the Carson Valley Inn's $250,000 Hawaiian holiday giveaways. Unwrap the fun with $500 Southwest gift cards and mini vacations every Saturday. And $60 grand in grand prize Hawaiian vacations or cash. The islands are calling, only at the Carson Valley Inn.
Welcome to Story County, where history meets innovation, and a pioneering spirit continues to shape our future. At the heart of the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, we power the future with global leaders in technology and manufacturing, driving progress that reaches far beyond our county lines. From advanced manufacturing to tech innovation, our industries are creating thousands of quality careers, fueling a vibrant economy that benefits every Nevadan. But it's more than just growth. Our community is our foundation, supporting families, empowering local initiatives, and creating a place where everyone belongs. Be part of a legacy built on bold ideas and boundless possibilities. Join us in building a brighter future right here in Story County. Story County, helping build Nevada's future.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we're delighted to welcome to the program for the first time Peter Palivos. He is an internationally recognized attorney practicing for 40 years, and especially in international affairs. So the first thing I want to ask you is, we now are hearing the results of President Trump's visit with President Xi. What are your thoughts on what came out of that?
First of all, thank you for having me on your program. I really enjoyed it. Very informative.
Thank you, sir.
I think President Trump is doing a good job. You know, we live during difficult times. The world is very complex. The issues are huge. And given the cards he was dealt with, I think he's done a good job with China, with these tariffs, with Japan. And I think we should focus on taking care of our home. And I agree with the president on that issue. You know, in 1991, we led the world in having the most rare earth minerals. And we kind of forgot about that and let China take the lead. And now we're making an adjustment to that situation.
Also, we're dealing with Australia that certainly has the ability to develop their resource there as well.
Absolutely, and I know the president struck a deal with the Australians, who are one of our allies. And it's always better to deal with an ally versus an international adversary, which China is.
But okay, so that brings up a fascinating question, which is, are they really? On the face of things, yes. Because we have two sides of diplomacy. We have the side that is for the opposing side, the side that's for our side, and then we have what goes on behind closed doors. So these meetings are never spur of the moment where we're going to have a conversation, come out with a resolution. Everything that comes out of these meetings has been discussed, vetted, and put together. Otherwise, the meeting wouldn't happen, correct?
Correct. International relationships are like any business relationship. You negotiate, you jockey for position, you bluff some things, you really want some things, and at the end you try to strike the best deal for your client or your country. So President Xi and our President Trump are doing the same thing. They're looking after what's in the best interests of their countries.
All right, so there's a big difference in the way that the United States looks at things versus the way that China looks at things from a government perspective. In the United States, in terms of business, we look at what's going to happen in the next quarter, maybe the next year, and then beyond that, we don't worry about it. In China, they think the next 100 years. Where's the balance for us with that?
We have to make, that's a great point. We have to make an adjustment. You know, we became the greatest country in the world, #1 economy in the world, the #1 military in the world, because we had a 5 to 10 year projection, always. And we also had bipartisanship on important issues that affected our country. Then we went sideways and we started thinking in terms of 1 year or 2 years. And that's in the corporate world, where CEOs came in and started thinking in terms of 1 year or 2 years so they could get the maximum bonus and the maximum salary. But it also happened at the political level, where politicians are thinking about the next election 2 years from now, not 5 or 10 years. The Chinese have an advantage in that respect because they do think in terms of 5, 10, and 20-year programs.
And literally 100-year programs.
Absolutely. So we need to make an adjustment, and it all starts, you know, my focus is getting our stuff straight here in America. We have to start working with each other. Compromise, in my opinion, is a good word politically. Yes. And we need our political leaders now to rise above the noise, stop the nonsense, work together for the common good of the American people.
All right, I want to hit one more thing in Asia, and then we can turn to that. Taiwan. We saw what happened when China received Macau and Hong Kong, and the promises they made and the promises that weren't really kept. Hong Kong, somewhat different than Macau, because Macau is now a very thriving place where it wasn't before. I was in Macau in 2000, and it was an awful place. Now it is a magnificent city, and it's just booming, and even more so in the last couple of months. With Taiwan, what the news media doesn't seem to cover, at least in this country, is how much trade there is between Taiwan and China. The relationship between the Taiwanese people and the Chinese people. Taiwan people are Chinese people, and yet they have an independent country. Do you see where China would actually want to invade? Intimidate, yes, they're already doing that, but actually invade, I don't see it.
It's a dangerous geopolitical issue. China has declared that they have territorial ambitions on Taiwan. And then over the past 20 years, as you've seen, China has flexed her muscles economically. It's the #1, #2 economy in the world. Militarily, it's the #2 military in the world. Their army is bigger than our army. Their navy recently surpassed our navy. So they are flexing their muscles. And when you look at history, Sam, you see countries, when they become stronger and more powerful, they end up having territorial ambitions. China does have territorial ambitions.
Well, Belt and Road Initiative, for example, where the Belt and Road Initiative,
yes,
where they're all over Africa at this point, they're all over Central and South America, building ports and bridges, etc. In an interesting way, they're bankrupting the countries because the countries that they're building these things in can't afford to pay for them, and so they end up, owning a lot of things. But here's the thing: China is not a rich country. China needs the trade it has with the United States. It's not a one-way street. So all the things you said are correct in terms of they're expanding their power base, but the reality is that they need us as much as we need them. Do you not agree?
I agree 100%. And that's why striking a deal with them is important. And the markets have shown what they think. Every time we say that we're going to go have an economic war with China, the markets drop, stocks drop, there's an uneasiness. The markets and the whole world want us to get along. When you have two superpowers, and China, in my humble opinion, is now a superpower. There are two world superpowers, the United States of America and China. When you have two superpowers, economically and militarily...
You don't count Russia anymore?
Russia would be #3. I mean, they have more nuclear weapons than China, but their economy is terrible. They're not even a top 10 economy in the world. So the real tension right now is between China and America, and we need to get along with each other for many reasons, for geopolitical reasons, for cultural reasons, for political reasons, for economic reasons.
All right. Do you think, and going back to my original point, that on the surface we are rivals, but we do need each other and there is a lot of cooperation on a secondary level? Or is that just my imagination?
No, there is cooperation, and I think ultimately there will be a deal, and ultimately we'll live in peace with each other, because the alternative is destructive. I mean, they have, last count, over 200 nuclear weapons. We have over 5,000 nuclear weapons. You don't need 5,000 nuclear weapons to destroy the world. 20 or 30 bombs would destroy the world. So we live in really precarious times, and these leaders, President Xi's of the world, the Putins of the world, President Trump, understand that. So a lot of times they'll say things, but behind the scenes, they work with each other because we need each other, and we only have one planet. Last time I checked, there's thousands of planets out there, but we as human beings can only live on one planet, and that's called planet Earth.
Yeah, and I would say billions, if not trillions of planets, but that's another
Thank
story. Probably one of the biggest fears that I have are the cyber attacks. Now, we constantly hear about Chinese cyber attacks on the US and cyber attacks from other places, but particularly from China. And my hope is that our cyber attacks on China are even stronger than theirs towards us, because that seems to be something that's ignored in the media. We talk about the strength of other countries against us, but we don't talk about the fact that, you know, we're just past $1 trillion military budget this year. What are your thoughts on cyber?
A lot of that goes on behind the scenes. I bet my dollar against your nickel that we're doing the same thing to the Chinese.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope we're doing better too, by the way.
We just don't talk about that stuff. Powers like China and Russia and America, things happen behind the scenes that we find out about 10, 20 years later.
All right, let's take a break. We'll come back, and I want to get back to what you were talking about, working together in this country. We'll be right back after this time out. As you know, Reno is booming. Toll's development company is helping it grow with insightful design and development, building community with every project, adding beauty, adding excitement, emphasizing our shared humanity. Reno is becoming bigger. Toll's development is helping it become better, more livable, more enjoyable. To learn more, go to tollsdevelopment.com. tollsdevelopment.com.
It's the most wonderful time to win during the $125,000 Holiday Cash Frenzy at Tamarack Casino. Every Saturday, unwrap thousands in cash and free play. Don't miss the grand finale December 27th. We're gifting $20,000 in cash guaranteed. 'Tis the season for good times at Tamarack Casino.
Like a traditional handmade basket, retail is woven into the fabric of life in Nevada. From big box to mom and pop, retail supports our communities in countless ways. Jobs for the disabled, team uniforms for kids, help for the elderly, and so much more. Retail employs over 1 in 10 workers. Retail supports Nevada, and we support retail.
RANNV.org.
Pro Group Management offers workers' comp services to a growing number of industries. As businesses grow and change with the times, the need for a solid workers' comp program must be flexible and up to date. The evolving nature of regulations can make staying ahead of complex tasks challenging. But Pro Group Management simplifies the work so your industry can move forward and succeed. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Peter Palivos. He is an internationally recognized attorney. You were talking earlier about how we need to get along in this country. Both sides need to come together. We need to find a moderate center. How are we going to do that?
We start by talking to each other. Currently, in my opinion, we're talking past each other. We need to encourage our leaders to work with each other. Recently, U.S. Senator Masterson made a brave move by reaching out and working with the Republicans, and I text her to compliment her for that. Compromise is a good thing. We here in America became the #1 superpower militarily and economically by working together, not against each other. So we have to go back to who we were. We have to pray for our president, regardless of whether they're Democrat or Republican. We have to pray for our governor, regardless of whether she is a Republican or a Democrat. That's how we used to be. And I can honestly confess to you, I go to church and I pray for our president. I pray for our governor, because in my opinion, if they succeed, we succeed.
I don't disagree with you. I think that the thing that we're missing is that once you're elected, the election is over, and whatever office you now hold, you don't just hold for the people who supported you, you hold that office for everyone. And that seems to be part of the mission that's gone away. But between television that has now subdivided into listening to an echo chamber of either Republican or Democrat, or social media, that we are being forced apart, whether we like it or not, just by our choices. That's the part that I don't see how that changes, at least in the short term. How do you make it so that people get a more moderate view of things? Now, one thing I will say is here in Nevada, we are seeing more people registered as independents than we've seen before. Part of that is the DMV, the way the registration is set up. But I think it's really happening in real life as well. I talk to a lot of moderate Democrats and Republicans who are not to one side or the other. They do want to work together. And we see it in the legislature, for example, where lobbyists don't come out with their political affiliation. They come out to negotiate and get a job done.
You know, I saw a poll a while back. 80% of Americans want the same thing. We want a strong military. We love capitalism. We want good schools for our children and grandchildren. We're centralists. We want affordable home ownership. We're centralists in our views. The problem is you have that 10% far right and that 10% far left that suck all the oxygen in the room. You have a lot of really good leaders. Our congressional delegation in Nevada is very good. Our senators are good. Our state constitutional officers are good people. We have a lot of good people in our state and in the country. Unfortunately, the good people who are the moderates, who are consistent with the 80% of Americans who are centralist. Most Americans are centralist. Central left, central right, we're centralist. The problem is you have the fringes making all the noise. They get all the publicity. They suck up all the oxygen in the room and on television, and you hear those extreme voices. So we have to do a concerted effort between the American people and the media to tone down the extreme elements and then kind of raise up the moderate voices that do want compromise.
All right, so that sounds great.
Yep.
The only problem is this, that Fox News and MSNBC make money doing what they do. Where is the incentive for them to be able to have a moderate view? People would stop watching. The other side of it is that I think that a younger generation, and some older generation too, but mostly younger, are now listening to podcasts, like Joe Rogan, for example, yes, where it's a 2.5, 3 hour show where you actually get to hear what somebody thinks without it being in a 20 or 30-second soundbite. Isn't that part of the problem with our political system at this point, that we hardly know most of our elected officials until Election Day, and then we're bombarded with these 30-second messages that are all negative?
Correct. I think it's time for the adults in the room to stand up. And adults,
will they?
Well, it's time, because we're too divided, in my opinion, and this is unsustainable. You know, one of my favorite stories in politics is in 1981. 1981, President Reagan was president of our country. Speaker of the House was Tip O'Neill. Tip O'Neill and President Reagan were two opposites. Reagan was a Republican. He was from the West Coast. Tip O'Neill was a Democrat, liberal Democrat from Massachusetts. They were politically opposites, but they always try to work together. And then when President Reagan was shot, when they attempted to shoot him, Tip O'Neill called the chief of staff, Jim Baker, and said, I want to see the president just for a few minutes. The president was rushed to the hospital, he was operated, and the first person in there was Tip O'Neill. 5 minutes go, boy, and First Lady Nancy Reagan shows up, and she's demanding to see her husband. Of course she was. He was just shot, and he was just operated, and she just got to the hospital. Chief of Staff Baker said, just give us 1 more minute, because Tip O'Neill's in there. Nancy Reagan insisted to see her husband. So Jim Baker goes very slowly, opens up the door, and there he sees Tip O'Neill on his knees with a rosary on one hand and holding the hand of President Reagan with the other, praying for our president. We need to go back to that America, where we work together and pray for each other and wish each other success, not the craziness that's going on, the division that's going on. And again, I really believe that the extreme elements are a very small part of America. So let's not let them suck up all the oxygen. And the way we do that, Sam, in my humble opinion, is the American people, the vast number of American people who believe in the goodness of this country, we stand up and tell the politician, stop the nonsense, work with each other.
Does it concern you, the collapse of the media? Local news, for example, on radio and television and newspapers, it's disappearing. In Las Vegas, we're very fortunate that the Las Vegas Review-Journal is a well-funded, terrific newspaper that, apart from the opinion sections, which have always been a conservative direction in the same way the Sun has been liberal, but the paper itself is right down the middle. But you go around the country, that's not the case. How do we revive the media and revive trust in the media? Because people at this point have a lot of distrust of the media.
You're 100% right. One of the big problems is all the newspapers, independent newspapers all over the country are going out of business. And in my opinion, the most catastrophic decision in the history of America was U.S. versus Citizens United, where they lifted all campaign limits for political action groups. And now there's unlimited money in political action groups, where anybody can come in and put up $5, $10, $20, $50 million to discourage a politician or encourage a politician to do A, B, or C. That was a catastrophic decision because it tilted our country from a democracy, the greatest democracy in the history of the world, to almost a plutocracy. A plutocracy.
So how do you define plutocracy?
Plutocracy is where the super rich rule the system. And when, you know, the truth is, when you're a politician, it used to be a person would come in and say, well, you know I'm polluting the lake, but I'm a very powerful guy, I own a factory, and you better go along with what I'm saying, Mr. Politician, Mr. Senator, or Mr. Congressman, because I'll raise money against you. Well, there used to be limits of $1,000, $2,000 a cycle. So, okay, the politician would say, you can't do nothing to me. So we're going to get 50 friends, write a $1,000 check. That's $50,000. I'm going to vote my conscience. I'm going to do the right thing by the people. That's how it used to be. The U.S. Citizens United decision, which was catastrophic, in my opinion, comes in, and now a person can give unlimited money to a political action group, unlimited, 10, 20, 30 million, and many rich people do that on a single issue. Now that person, through his consultants and his person, goes to that politician, the mayor, the governor, the congressman, and says, if you don't support my position, as crazy as it is that I'm polluting the water or whatever they're doing, I'm going to put up $30 million against you to destroy you because I know some skeletons you have in your closet. That's just, we have to overrule Citizens United by statute and go back to being a democracy, not tilt this country towards a plutocracy.
Well, I think you're very optimistic, and I wish you well on that. Let's take another break. We'll be right back.
A power line is more than a power line. It's maintaining the bottom line for small businesses. It's keeping the assembly line moving for our workforce. For our brightest minds, it's meeting a deadline. It's on the front line with our heroes. And on the sidelines of the biggest games. It's a direct line to our loved ones. And it's a lifeline for the most vulnerable. There's a lot on the line.
Meet Nevada Health Link, Nevada's official health insurance marketplace. Your link to savings, selection, free assistance, and name brand health insurance, where 90% of enrollees lower the cost of their monthly premium. Everyone deserves access to quality health coverage, no matter your income or family size. Visit NevadaHealthLink.com. A few minutes could save you hundreds of dollars per month.
Nevada Health Link. Our plans are made for your plans.
The Nevada Builders Alliance has been protecting the interests of the construction industry for over 50 years. Our programs save members thousands of dollars every year. and allow them to provide much-needed benefits to their employees. Our industry also allows Nevada to grow. If you're thinking about a career in the construction industry, reach out. And if you haven't thought of a career in construction, what are you waiting for? We are the Nevada Builders Alliance.
The trucking industry is the most resilient link in the supply chain. And for over 90 years, the Nevada Trucking Association has been the voice for the men and women in the trucking industry. From Carson City to Washington, D.C., we advocate for policies to protect our trucking companies and keep commerce flowing. Because Nevada's and America's prosperity is tied to trucks. There's nothing without trucking.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Peter Palivos, who is the internationally recognized attorney. Tell me about the Day of Gratitude and your involvement. And we only have a few seconds, unfortunately.
Yeah, so on June 6, 2026, we're going to do the biggest veteran and military exclusive event in the history of our country at Allegiant Stadium. And I'm giving a shout out to all the veterans and military families to join us. It'll be a wonderful event. We're going to have top-notch performance. We shout out to the Raiders for giving us the stadium again for free to honor our heroes. And it's an event that we just show it's a good gratitude to the men and women who have served our country. So really excited about that. We're going to set a new record nationally.
Okay, well, congratulations on that. Thank you for doing that. We all appreciate our military service, and we thank you for doing the program today. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
And we'll be right back.
Welcome to the Ahern Boutique Hotel, where luxury and warmth come together in the heart of Las Vegas.
We take pride in offering a one-of-a-kind experience for both locals and tourists.
Join us for handcrafted cocktails and an unforgettable experience.
Joel's Chop House, the perfect place to savor views of the Las Vegas Strip.
Satisfy your cravings at the Ahern Chocolate Shop.
No smoking, no resort fees, and the parking is always free. The Ahern Luxury Boutique Hotel is your home away from home.
Each day, the Children's Advocacy Alliance partners with leaders, legislators, and families across Nevada to improve children's health, education, economic well-being, and safety. We recognize Nevada will be no better than the state of its children. Be a part of this change. Be a supporter of the Children's Advocacy Alliance. For more information, go to caanv.org.
You're in trouble with the law. It's easy to think you'll lose everything, but there is hope. I'm Attorney Orrin Johnson. Your first step is to hire a serious attorney with the experience to successfully navigate the legal system for you.
Sometimes hope means addiction treatment instead of jail, and making sure you're treated fairly.
Sometimes hope means fearless trial attorneys will stand up to the government when they get it wrong. Call or text Orrin Johnson Law.
We'll make a plan.
You'll take back your life.
Thanks for watching Nevada Newsmakers, coming to you from the Ahern Hotel in Las Vegas. As always, you can watch Nevada Newsmakers 24 hours a day at NevadaNewsmakers.com. You can also download the podcasts from your favorite podcast app. We'll see you on the next broadcast.